back for a second day of Tarkir Dragon Storm spoilers, and I thought I could get away with just one video, but after today and yesterday's spoilers, I had to touch base on these new lands that just make your stuff uncounterable, and new cEDH staples, and just a whole swath of things coming out of Tarkir, and our first return to one of Magic's most beloved planes. Now, if there is any card that I'm missing on this list, because there is one that I missed from the original day, let me know in the comment section down below. I need to get a hold of some of this and some of the interactions that I'm missing. Some of these, notably, especially closer to the end, are specifically because of a niche interaction with them, so hoping that maybe they'll help you in a constructed or a commander deck down the line. They may not be universally broken, but that's the whole point of them. Not every card can be a banger, but some of them can do some special stuff as well. So let's hop into the first card. It's going to be Mistrise Village. This is one that's been on everyone's mind, and by a mile, it's honestly just the best one in the cycle. So it's the legendary land cycle. The big problem that everyone's talking about here is that now we potentially don't have any tri-lands for like standard mana fixing. So a lot of people are worried about these cards in the standard environment, but specifically the lands, they come in tapped unless you control a land type of another color, another two colors matching up. So in this case, this is Sultai, so it gives you a blue source unless you control a mountain or a forest. It comes in tapped. And what's nice about it, because it's worded out, it doesn't actually include the symbol. You can actually play this in a mono blue deck. So for all you commander players asking out there who don't know, you can play this in a mono blue deck, or in a Simic deck, or in an Izzet deck. So this is a card that I'm picking up instantly, because not only is it a tap source that you can tap to add blue, great. It's not fetchable, that's fine. You can pay blue and tap this, so it kind of costs 2 mana. The next spell you cast this turn can't be countered. Creature spell, instant, enchantment, artifact, just the next spell you cast this turn cannot be countered. Absolutely insane. An immediate commander staple, cEDH staple, probably somewhere in constructed as well. Constructed maybe a little less so, because it's kind of like if you want something to resolve, the tax on it will be 2 more, but this is a tax that I think cEDH players are more than happy to play. This is an instant staple, and commander players, there are so many decks that this can go into. Like pretty much if you're in blue anything, this is an auto staple land. All your stuff, you just want uncounterable. Of course, if it's expensive, some people don't want to buy it, but of course my proxy policy is completely open. Some people are real sticklers about like not playing cards that they don't own, which I don't know, whatever. I'm just here to play the game. But regardless, when it comes to something like this, absolutely insane. I don't think I need to speak more about its kind of goodwill, but more so on the fact that the rest of the cycle kind of sucks. Like the green one surveils, the white one creates like soldiers, the red one is like kind of interesting to me. Like I like it in mono red commander decks, or just red commander decks, because you can pay some amount of mana, exile the top card of your library, and you can cast it this turn. Okay, I mean, I'm probably putting that in my Ragavan deck, but all right. The next card that is an immediate cEDH staple, probably commander in general, honestly, is Voice of Victory. White and 1 for a 1/3. I mean, okay, first of all, so hard to kill with Orcish Bowmasters, might I add. And also, your opponents just can't cast spells during your turn. You just can't. So not only does this join the long line of cards that already have this type of similar effect, but just having this at such a low cost, it's so easy to cast at white and 1, and just being a 1/3 is actually so powerful. So I think a lot of cEDH players, not only were their eyes perked up with Mistrise, but just having like non-blue stuff, having something in white like this is really, really, really cool. And then the fact that it has mobilize, whenever this attacks, create 2 tapped and attacking 1/1 red warrior creature tokens, sacrifice them at the beginning of the next end step, so you get some amount of some attacks in. This card's really cool. I mean, look at the bottom here. The special art for this is so cool, just being a bard and everything. So great in terms of the art, great in terms of the effect. Again, immediate cEDH staple, and just really excited to see where this goes. It's not my type of cEDH deck, but I definitely see the commanders that this is going into. The next one is Way of the Future. And so this card I wanted to bring up because of a very funny interaction. It's very high costed for an instant here. So it is Jeskai, white, red, and blue, and 2 for an instant that says the next time a source of your choice would deal damage to you this turn, and it's your choice, not you control, prevent that damage. And when damage is prevented this way, Way of the Future deals that much damage to the source's controller, and you draw that many cards. So the reason I'm bringing this up is that the funny interaction is with Jumbo Cactuar, because we got a confirmation from Fire Shoes. If I can remember to link the tweet, I will. But if Jumbo Cactuar swings at you, so this is in a constructed environment or just in a place where 2 players are left in a game. If Jumbo Cactuar swings at one person for 10,000 damage, obviously up to less than 10,000 life, and then you play the Way of the Future, you can prevent that damage and deal 10,000 to them, but then also you draw 10,000 cards, drawing out your deck. So the next time priority resolves, it's just a draw, because the state-based actions will check that your opponent is now at 0 and that you are at 0 cards in life in deck trying to draw from an empty library. So at that point, state-based action, just call it a draw. Kind of a funny interaction. So if there ever was a world where like Jumbo Cactuar is memeing around, if you didn't want to like actually hard counter it and remove it because it's really easy to remove, it doesn't even have haste, I mean, I guess you could hit it with Way of the Future. Just a funny interaction I thought I would bring up that came up on Twitter. Next one is Surrak, Elusive Hunter. This one you don't want to play into an Orcish Bowmasters. Green and 2. It's a legendary creature, human warrior 4/3. This spell can't be countered, which is good. And it has trample. Whenever a creature you control or a creature spell you control, so that's nice, on the stack, becomes the target of a spell or an ability an opponent controls. So not only can it be countered, but if you maybe use something like Unsubstantiate, which returns the spell to your hand, even if that creature spell becomes a target of it on the stack, you draw a card as long as Surrak is out. The thing is that if you Orcish Bowmasters, this just keeps looping in the sense that Orcish Bowmasters will ping this, you draw a card, Orcish Bowmasters pings again, and you just keep like targeting with the Orcish Bowmasters. And the thing is the Bowmaster triggers don't actually need to resolve, so the Surrak doesn't die. It just needs to be targeted, and then you draw a card. So the more you draw and draw and draw and draw, the Orcish Bowmasters will just keep pinging. So this would be a forced way for Orcish Bowmasters to knock you out. Again, just a nice little funny little interaction that I thought I would bring about when it came to something like that. Sibsig Ceremony is I'm bringing up specifically because it's kind of like, it feels like more extra copies of the other enchantment that's like black and 1 and creature spells cost 2 less to cast and all creatures get -1/-1. This one is a legendary enchantment though, so it doesn't stack. You can't play multiple of these, but you can play it alongside that other card. This is black, black, black. And it says creature spells you cast cost 2 less to cast. Whenever a creature you control enters, if you cast it, so not if you reanimate it or anything, destroy that creature, then create a 2/2 black zombie druid creature token. So this one's pretty cool. This one's really nice in the sense that there's definitely ways to go infinite with like Gravecrawler and stuff where you can like have it enter and then like you have the zombie enter and then you can sacrifice that to a Phyrexian Altar, gain 1 black, cast the Gravecrawler again. You just have like infinite ETBs and stuff, so you can do that. The funny thing that I want to do is with a Surrak, the Archlich, which would then cost 1 black as a 5/5. But then when it enters, if you haven't completed the Tomb of Annihilation, return it to your hand and then venture into the dungeon. And then when it attacks, whatever. But really what you're doing is when this enters, because you control the triggers, this will enter and create an ETB trigger. And it will also enter causing the Sibsig to trigger. So as far as I'm aware, you should just be able to trigger them in a sense that the return happens first, then the destroy happens, and then whatever the destroy fizzles because the Surrak is no longer in your thing. And so what you do is you combine this with maybe like an artifact that says tap target creature, add 1 mana of any color. So, you know, I'm thinking of like Springleaf Drum, or there's other ways to do this, but you play with that, you create 1 black, return a Surrak to your hand. You just keep doing that over and over and over again. So you get infinite ETBs. You get infinite zombies. You just venture to the dungeon over and over and over again. So that's just like a fun way to kind of combo that. Of course, Alurin is kind of the natural combo to this, especially when you think of something like Legacy, but that's not really a playable deck right now. So regardless, I just thought this was a fun way to kind of combo a Surrak. The next card that I want to bring up, this is going to be the last one, is specifically Redoubled Stormsinger. And I'm bringing this up because of its kind of interesting wording. Redoubled Stormsinger says, whenever this creature attacks, for each creature token you control that entered this turn, create a tapped and attacking token that's a copy of that token. At the beginning of the next end step, sacrifice tokens. Now, the key thing I want to mention is that this is specifically out of the commander deck, so it's not going to be constructed playable outside of Legacy and Vintage, which is where I wanted to bring this up. So again, like these previous cards, we see the symbols. This is the constructed symbol. This one specifically is out of the commander deck, so I wanted to bring this up in the sense of Legacy, specifically in combination with something like Fable of the Mirror Breaker. So if you have ways to kind of copy this, when you flip this around and you copy this with your Fable Reflection of Kiki, if you're doing this in red as well, if you have ways to kind of clone this and create copies, that's a cool way to like duplicate clones and everything. So I thought that was like kind of nice. Not clones, but copies, I should say. Does that make it broken? No. Reflection of Fable of the Mirror Breaker is fine by itself. The threat itself is not that crazy. It doesn't even have haste. So I'm only bringing it up for that soft interaction. I don't know if there's really a place for this in Legacy. It's just my brain is so mixed with all the painters decks that I play. I'm so used to just turn one on outing a Fable of the Mirror Breaker that I'm immediately thinking, oh my god, this just copies itself. If Fable copies it, makes a token, this attacks, it creates the token then attacks, creates a copy of itself. So you create 2 tokens, or you attack with it, or like the turn you can attack with it, you copy it, you have a token, and then you attack with both of these, the original copy and the token triggered to create 2 more attacks. It's not bad. It's not bad, right? It's cool, and it's not like legendary, so you can just keep creating token copies of this. I feel like this in Myriad, oh no, for each creature token you control, I guess no, this does work with Myriad, doesn't it? Okay, hold on. I gotta read Myriad. Hold on. I actually have to read Myriad. I wasn't even thinking of that actually, but this is a live look. Okay, so Myriad says whenever it attacks for each opponent other than defending player, you may create a token that's good tapped and attacking. Oh my god, yeah, this is insane with Myriad. Oh my god. Okay, yeah, so both of them are attack triggers. So what you can do is stack them in such a way where the Myriad happens first, and then you will create copies. You will create 3 more copies of this, and then each redoubled, well, not each one, because then it's already tapped and attacking, but the first one will trigger. The first one will trigger creating 3 more. That's not bad, right? So the Myriad copies won't trigger this because they're already in and attacking, but the first one will then create 3 more. There you go. There's just some fun shenanigans you can do with this. So I thought it was kind of interesting, the fact that you can copy tokens off of this. Now, the last thing that I want to mention is the last bit of mill support that we get. Glacier Siege Wood, blue, green, and 1 enchantment. As this enchantment enters, choose Teamer or Sultai. If you choose Sultai, you can play land cards from your graveyard. That's cool. And then if you choose Teamer, whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, target player mills 4 cards. Come on, this is not modern mill playable, but maybe come on. Maybe no, come on, this does not work. There's a mill deck out there that will play this. There are versions of the Wise Mothman that this will work in, so that's another reason why I wanted to bring this up. The way I have my Wise Mothman kind of currently constructing, that's still a work in progress. Let me know in the comment section down below if you want to see that video. By the way, I brought it up in a previous one. Follow my Mox field for that as well. But certain versions of it will. My version of the Wise Mothman probably won't be able to take advantage of this like that. It's like soft on the 1/1 counters, very heavy on the combo aspect, but I still build it like a bracket 3. I don't know. I'm a dirty combo player. It's hard for me to get out of my ways. Glacierwood Siege, I just thought I'd bring up because it's a mill card. It's a mill card. I'm that mill guy. I have to bring it up. But regardless, let me know what you think in the comment section down below about the Dragon Storm Tarkir spoilers that we've seen. Let me know what you're excited for. Let me know if I missed any cards, and I don't know, just a whole lot of dragons, set that just feels like Magic in general. It just feels like a good time with dragons and spells and the cons to just be playing some Magic.